So now we're starting the third turn of the game in Guderian's Blitzkrieg 2. The scenario is drive on Bryansk. And the weather is automatically fair, but there is a possibility of limited flight. So I rolled the dice for that, and this full flight. So all of the air units will be able to be used. And then rolling for initiative, the Soviets won initiative again. And this time, since it's the last turn of the game, they're going to go first, just to make sure that they've got everything shored up as possible, as good as possible, for the expected onslaught. Then I built a hedgehog in Bryansk, which that costs 2 supply points, and then I built another hedgehog just to the east of Bryansk along the road and rail line by the 19th Infantry Division. That costs another 2. And after, the movement phase, I have to take a look at supply. There are a bunch of Soviet units that would be out of supply, but I have a tree bark soup marker to deploy in a heavy woods hex, which gets them all in supply. And then the rest of the units are supplied by the various headquarters and detrainable hexes. Then I had a rather uneventful reaction phase. So when we got to the combat phase, the main thing that I wanted to do is I had the 3rd Army Headquarters support a Katyusha attack against the 34th Motorcycle Battalion and the 135 Tank Battalion, which is a threat to Bryansk from the south. And the attack was somewhat successful. I disorganized them. So they're not going to really be able to do a whole lot on their turn, I don't think. So, and that's really all the combat activity. I just really have to hold on to Bryansk at this stage, and I think I'm going to do that. So the Germans were able to refit all of the Luftwaffe that were inactive, expending 3T at 3 different air bases. So we will now commence with movement. So the first thing I'm going to do here, I've sent a squadron of BF-109s to go up against a half squadron of I-16s at Bryansk. And this is successful. It knocks them down and eliminates them, actually. But there's still more fighters there, so another half squadron of I-16s comes up, and the 109s cause them to abort and go inactive. And then the 109 continues to fight the Yak-1s, but this time the Messerschmitts abort and they sustain damage and go to their reduced side. So what I ended up doing is taking another squadron, a half squadron of 109s from the nearby air base, and they attack, do a fighter sweep against the Yak-1s again, and this time the Soviets do abort, and that takes the entire patrol zone there down. So now the Luftwaffe bombers can have at it. So then I activate the 7th Recon Battalion out of the 4th Panzer, and it was able to drive right up to the outskirts here, and it calls in some hip shoots. So I got a squadron of Stukas that come in. It survives the flak rolls, and it manages to disorganize the target, which is basically a hedgehog defended Soviet infantry division. So the 4th Panzer continues, and the 12th and the 33rd Infantry Regiments move to overrun the Soviet 19th Infantry Division, and they don't get surprise on this, and the 12th is the lead unit and decides to take an elimination as the option, which forces the Soviet 19th Infantry Division to take an option, so they're going to take a step loss. Then the 33rd Infantry Regiment does another overrun and gets surprised this time, and they end up having to take an option, and the 33rd is eliminated, but also the 19th Infantry Division ends up eliminated as well. So the rest of the 4th Division moves up into the hedgehog, and which provides spotting for another hip shoot. So I decided to send a squadron of Stukas to hip shoot the units in Bryansk itself. This has an air base and a hedgehog, so the flak is up a little bit higher, but I still pass the flak roll. So the 12-point shot, I get a good dice roll, and I end up disorganizing the combat units in Bryansk. So that was a good result for the Luftwaffe. So next I get the 3rd Panzer going, and I have the 3rd Motorcycle, the 394th Infantry Regiment, and Panzer Battalion drives right into Bryansk and gets surprise in the overrun. And so I end up having to take an attacker option, so I eliminate the 5 action-rated Panzer Battalion. But the Soviets lose their lead unit, which was a composite communist regiment, and then they have to take an option, so they don't want to retreat. So the artillery brigade is destroyed also. Then I got another section of the 3rd Panzer going, the 3rd Infantry, the 1st Recon Battalion, and the 1/6 Panzer Battalion. And they drive straight to Bryansk and overrun. And this time the 3rd Recon is the lead unit. It takes an option and is eliminated. But the 19th Infantry Division, either it has to be eliminated or the 19th Infantry is eliminated, but earlier I said it was eliminated, but it actually took a retreat to satisfy the option to add to the defenses of Bryansk, but it just wasn't good enough. So the 3rd Panzer Division captures Bryansk. The air base is captured, so the I-16s, which is only half a squadron, are able to get out and flee to Kursk, and the squadron of Yak-1s also gets out and flies to the air base at Kursk, but the IL-4 tactical bombers, they're only half a squadron anyway. They're eliminated on the ground by the capture of the base. Also, there's a pile of supply there. There are 6 supply points, and the Germans managed to capture 3 supply points, and the other 3 were destroyed. And then the Germans also capture both wagon points. So overall, the booty's pretty good here, but I'll have to say it was costly because those last attacks, I used internal supply to conduct them, which means if the game were to continue, it's going to take me a while to get those, the 3rd and 4th Panzer in particular, resupplied. I mean, it costs double to replenish them, so it is kind of a waste of supply, but because of the need to capture Bryansk for the scenario, but really in this stage of the operations, it was really important to get these, whatever the cost, to just capture these major locations early in the game. So anyway, apparently I did not get enough defensive strength in Bryansk. I just didn't think I was going to need it, and I guess I blew that. I forgot how powerful the panzers are, especially using overruns with part of the division, and you could just keep doing it as long as you have movement points and other units, and there's not much that can be done to stop you. I mean, even a bad result, that's okay. Take the losses, run your next group in, and Anyway, I'll put up a picture here of the dead pile. Kind of be an interesting thing to take a look at.
Trucking, got my chips cashed in. Keep trucking like the doodah